Ευχαριστώ πολύ, Νικόλα. Good evening and good morning to all our guests in Greece, in Europe and the US. I'm delighted to welcome you to our discussion on the next generation EU funding and the future of Europe as a unique opportunity for growth. The next generation EU funding program of 800 billion euros is a true change enabler and driver of collaboration and joint commitment among member states towards the Europe of tomorrow. One Europe that is greener, more digital, more inclusive, and better prepared for any future challenges. Its impact on society, the EU economy, and Europe as a whole over the next years should be substantial if it is utilized correctly and in a timely manner. It is within this context that the Greek National Resilience and Recovery Plan, Greece 2.0, will receive a total amount of just over 31 billion euros split between grants and loans. The Greek Recovery and Resilient Plan expands beyond recovery, introducing fundamental economic and social reforms. It aspires actually to change the economic growth model of the country by focusing on green transition, on digital transformation, value-adding investments, and skills and social cohesion and resilience. It presents a unique opportunity for Greece to enter into a virtuous circle of growth and prosperity and leapfrog in the new normal. To better understand the profound changes that we expect to occur all across Europe in the next years, Deloitte ran a survey of 4,500 respondents in 7 EU countries and the UK to analyze the nature and aims of the Next-Gen EU program and compare them with the expectations of citizens in the EU. The survey was undertaken in the second quarter of this year, a critical juncture when the EU economy and much of Europe in general was starting to recover from the pandemic. Since then, the funding program has progressed and the plans to build an inclusive, resilient, and flourishing economy in the future are now turning into action. To discuss the insights and findings of this report on the next generation EU funding and the future of Europe, we have with us Andrea Poggi, in charge of this research survey. Andrea is a Deloitte senior partner, Deloitte Europe's innovation leader, and Deloitte Central Mediterranean clients and industries leader. Andrea, I would like to welcome you to our summit.
Thank you, Vassilis. I'm really happy to see you here, and thank you for inviting me.
We thank you very much for being with us today, and I would like to ask you to brief us about the main findings of this research, focusing on the Greek citizens' general sentiment on the socio-economic recovery and their perceptions on the next generation EU program.
Yeah, sure. I think that the first step is, if you agree, to share the main highlights regarding the general sentiment regarding the future of Europe and in particular the recovery. In this chart, as you can see, based on the main highlights of the Demoscope research, there is a general positive sentiment regarding the ability of our economy to recover by 2022. As you can see, more than 70% of the European citizens have a good perception regarding the great contribution of 2022 to the recovery of the economy, and 58% of the youngest Greek citizens think that 2022 could be the real year in order to start a strong recovery. There are, at the end of the day, 3 main enablers of this recovery. The first one is a strong attention to the ability to increase the level of service in the public health. This is true for the 58% of the European citizens, and is more than true for Greece, because 70% of the citizens confirmed that public health is one of the key enablers of this tri-phase. The other two main areas where the European citizen, and again, for sure the Greek interviews confirm there are opportunity for growing, are the new way to approach the bureaucracy and the need of a strong presence in the execution phase of the governments. So public health, bureaucracy, and a government execution, government commitment are the three key enablers. But generally speaking, one of the key highlights of this demoscope is that there is a very good perception of the contribution of Europe to the value, to the future of the single countries. Think that more than 60% of European citizens confirm that the European institutions were able to support all the countries during the pandemic situation. And 3 out of 5 citizens think that in order to have a strong drive, is really important to reinforce the strategic role of the European Union. So the European Union is at the center of these general positive sentiments of the citizens, is at the center of the expectations of the European citizens, Greek citizens included. Based on this, I think the next chart could support us on understanding how the next generation EU program could be essential in order to facilitate the recovery phase. 84% of the citizens think that the NGO is a strategic instrument in order to allow each single country to respond in an effective way to the crisis. And for the 82%, the NGO is able also to reinforce the role of the European Union too, in addition to the help that the NGO could provide to the single country recovery plan. And another key point is that 80% of the citizens, 72 in Greece, think that the key success factor of the NGO is the ability of each single government to execute the next generation EU plans, the PNRR plans developed in agreement with the rules defined by the European Commission. So the NGO is perceived as the right tool, the right way to proceed, but the ability of execution of the government is the key success factor. And in terms of the areas where the European citizen and the Greek citizen think that these funds should be allocated, should be focused in order to facilitate the recovery phase, there is, let me say, a general convergence in terms of answer. There are 2 main pillars out of the 7 defined by the NGO program, which are, let me say, preconditions of the recovery phase. These 2 pillars are education, training, and research, and again, health. And as you can see in this chart, Greece in particular think that the health pillar is the first one where the funds should be allocated in order to facilitate the tri-phase. After these 2 preconditions, there are 3 main pillars where citizens think that governments should focus their investment and their funds. Digitalisation innovation, green revolution, and infrastructure and sustainable mobility. As you can see, in particular in Greece, there are high expectations regarding innovation and sustainable mobility. There is a lower attention to sustainability, to the green revolution. This is also clearly linked to the current situation of the country. This is the general perception. But have in mind that education and health are, at the end of the day, precondition. We can say that at European level and in Greece too, there are two main areas where citizens think money, funds should be allocated: digitalization and sustainability. Vassilis.
Elaborate more on the main investment areas, on the main focal areas you have mentioned, where we anticipate the most significant opportunities for growth.
As I said before, for sure, digitalization and sustainability are the two areas. Not only because this is, let me say, fully aligned to the answer collected thanks to this Demoscope research, but also because in these two areas, all the governments, Greece included, are focusing the main part of the investment. And also, another key reason is that, let me say, after the pandemic, the behaviors of the citizens, of the consumers, are completely different. And these new behaviors are asking for a stronger contribution in terms of digitalization and sustainability to the recovery. Look at this slide. We tried to understand specifically for digitalization and innovation the new behaviors, the new way to approach the professional, the personal life of the citizen after the pandemic. And as you can see, for more than 80%, almost 90% of the European and Greek citizens, to continue to use digital device and to have a more digital approach to the professional and the quality life could be something real, useful also in the next future. The citizens, the European citizens, don't want to change their behavior after the digital experience they had during the pandemic. At the same time, 71% of the Greek citizens want to continue to use contactless payment in the future after the good experience they had during the pandemic. And 72% of the Greek citizens think that the online services are really useful and they want to have the chance to have this kind of services in the next future, or if you want, in the new normal. So in terms of behavior, it's clear that the openness of the citizens to the digital world is higher and completely different than 18 or 24 months ago. Based on this, at the same time, the level of satisfaction of the European citizen on the digitalization services is not really high. In particular, in Italy and in Greece, where the level of satisfaction is around 25–30%. And obviously, this is due to the level of digitalization of the country perceived some months ago. And consequently, it's very positive that, as you can see in this chart, the percentage of funds allocated to digitalization is really high, in particular in those countries where the level of satisfaction is not really good enough. In terms of the areas where this fund within the innovation perimeter should be allocated, let me say there are two main categories of areas of attention. The first one is at state, at country level, linked to the infrastructure or the level of efficiency of the public administration. The other category is linked to the personal life. In particular, the relevance of the issues connected to the data privacy and the digital gap we have across the countries are the two areas where there is a strong ask to invest on. Regarding the second key pillar where we should focus our investment, we should allocate the NGO funds based on the demoscope is, as I said before, sustainability, even if in Greece, this is not the second one, but the third one. There are for sure some changes again in the citizen behaviors, which are asking for new investment, new initiatives from governments. As you can see, 30% of the people we interviewed some months ago are ready to pay a higher price for sustainable products or services. And 50% of the citizens think that they are ready to adopt a more sustainable lifestyle. So again, the readiness regarding the adoption and the new investments on sustainability is really higher than some months ago. And even if the level of the current satisfaction is not very high on average across all the countries in Europe, and in particular, again, in Greece, but in other countries, Italy included, there is a general ask, Vassilis, to focus the investment in digitalization in particular in order to improve and to reinforce the infrastructures, and at the same time to be sure that all the projects, all the initiatives related to sustainability are not a kind of greenwashing initiatives, but they are, let me say, focused on generate tangible results and outcomes. So there is a strong need of concreteness and, let me say, substantial impact on the society and on the lifestyle in all the European countries.
Thank you very much, Andrea. We understand that innovation and sustainability are common pillars and directions among all countries' recovery and resilience plans. Where do you believe government and organizations should focus next in view of a radically different future in order to take the full advantage of the Next Gen EU program?
A real great and good question, Vassilis. I strongly believe, based also on the main highlights of this Demoscope survey, that the pandemic was a strong experience for all of us. And in terms of lesson learned, we understood that innovation, digitalization are key for our new way to stay in this world. But at the same time, it's very important that this digitalization process is really based on the concrete human needs. We need to be sure that innovation is able to answer in a concrete way to the main relevant human needs. And this is confirmed by our European citizens and the Greek citizens, because almost 70% of the citizens think that the pandemic clarified that we need a human-centered innovation. And at the same time, 50% of the people think that is really important that innovation is able to accelerate the sustainability programs we have across Europe. And at the same time, sustainability should be let me say, the main criteria in order to select the right innovation initiatives where to allocate funds. So there is a strong connection from innovation and sustainability. Innovation is the way to accelerate, to approach sustainability. Otherwise, we risk to have just greenwashing initiatives. And sustainability should be the main criteria, the polar star of the digitalization progress and programs. So we called in Deloitte this connection innovability, and we think that all the governments should consider the two main pillars identified by the NGO program, digitalization and sustainability, in a joint way. Only having at the same time sustainability innovation fully connected, understanding which project, which investment are able to be compliant with the innovation and sustainability targets is the right way to increase the effectiveness of the NGO initiatives, and at the same time to be sure that we are generating positive impact at the society level in alignment with the real human needs. This is something different, because let me say that before the pandemic, all the countries, all the business community were focused to execute digitalization process. But it's not enough. The pandemic clearly creates in all our citizens a readiness, an openness to this process only if there is a strong compliance with the human needs and with a more sustainable world. So innovation and sustainability together, and only with this joint approach, we can be sure that we are doing the right thing in a very effective way. Have in mind the business needs, the society needs, and the human needs.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Innovability surely is a very interesting concept and can create a virtuous circle of growth going forward. In our discussion, we recognize the importance of the opportunities created by the Next Gen EU program to build a better future, increase competitiveness and resilience, and reduce the inequalities and gaps among the best performing and least performing countries. The national RRPs surely have differences, but appear to be in alignment towards a broader direction. Although the program is still at an early stage of implementation, can you make some predictions about some changes that are likely to occur?
I think that, honestly speaking, the role of the European Union in this process could be relevant. There is a general optimism and, let me say, trust on the strong contribution that European Union and, let me say, a cross-geo approach could generate, not only for the European Commission, for European institutions, but in particular for the single countries. And another key point, in my opinion, is that there are positive perception from citizens regarding the ability of the governments to execute this kind of programs. Only if there is a strong collaboration between the different geos and the different countries and the different states. And this is something new, Vassilis, because as you know, the perception some months ago regarding the collaboration and the European perspective was different. Now there is, let me say, an openness to the contribution and a very high expectation regarding the contribution of the European institutions. Having said that, in order to be very concrete, it's very important to have a let me say, very structured approach at state level, it's very important to collaborate and to have a sort of sharing of the experience we have across the countries, because there is something new. All these government initiatives are applying the same framework and are focused on the same key 7 pillars. So we are all under the same umbrella and the same strategic direction. The collaboration, the sharing of the experience, the ability to co-invest in some initiatives is really key. And this is, let me say, something really new, because we don't have governments and programs directed to different destinations. We have the same destination, we have the same areas of investments, and it's very important to proceed having in mind the value of sharing and the value of the collaboration.
Thank you very much, Andrea. In closing, from our discussion, I keep as a takeaway the optimistic perceptions of the EU citizens, particularly young Generation Z, as to the nature and socioeconomic benefits of the NJ-EU program and its spillover, creating unique opportunities to build a vibrant, inclusive and sustainable Europe of tomorrow. I would like to thank you very much, Andrea, for your insights and express my sincere gratitude to all of you for being today with us. Thank you very much.